Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're taking a close look at a specific document, one that might seem quite niche at first glance, but actually reveals a lot about universal ideas like trust, professionalism, and even how societies progress.
That's right. We're going deep into the Philippines Executive Order No. 220, which was issued back on June 23, 2003.
And this isn't just some dry legal document. You should think of it more like a government spelling out in detail how it expects its professionals to operate, not just being skilled, but being, well, truly ethical and reliable.
Absolutely. And understanding something like this, it gives you real insight into how nations try to build that foundation of trustworthy expertise, how they cultivate public confidence. We're planning to really break it down today, look at all the important details.
Yeah, get into the nitty-gritty and see what its full impact was intended to be and maybe what lessons we can draw.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's dive in. The full official title is Directing the Adoption of the Code of Good Governance for the Professions in the Philippines.
Quite a title.
It is. And as mentioned, signed June 23, 2003, Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo was president then, and it was attested by the Executive Secretary, Alberto G. Romulo. It was also published officially, which is important for legal documents.
And that official publication, along with Section 5 stating it shall take effect immediately, really underscores the urgency, doesn't it?
It does. No phasing in period.
Right. And an executive order, or EO, in the Philippines, like in many systems, it's a direct command from the head of state. It's not just a suggestion. It has the force of law.
So immediate effect means it was meant to change things right away across the board.
Precisely. It signals a strong commitment to implementing these principles without delay.
Okay, so now for the part that often tells you the story behind the order, the whereas clauses. These aren't just legal formalities, are they?
Not at all. Think of them as the government laying out its case. The why. Why is this order necessary? What problems is it trying to solve? What goals is it trying to achieve?
So let's unpack those reasons. The first, whereas, actually roots this whole thing in the Constitution.
It does. It specifically cites Section 14, Article 12 of the Philippine Constitution. And that section talks about the state's role in promoting the sustained development of a reservoir of national talents.
Consisting of Filipino scientists, professionals, high-level technical manpower. So right from the start, they're linking good professional practice to, well, national development, a constitutional duty almost.
Exactly. It frames it not just as a regulatory issue, but as fundamental to building the nation's intellectual and professional capacity.
Then the second, whereas, makes another big statement. Good governance is one pillar of a strong republic.
Right. So it elevates the whole discussion. This isn't just about individual professions behaving well. It's about the strength and stability of the entire country. Good professional governance equals good national governance in a way.
That's a powerful link. And how are they going to enable this? The third whereas brings in the legal machinery, doesn't it?
Yes, it points to Republic Act No. 8981, which is the PRC Modernization Act of 2000, PRC being the Professional Regulation Commission.
The main body overseeing professions there.
Correct. And this act, specifically Sections 5 and 7A, gives the PRC the power, the explicit authority to adopt policies, like professional standards, to enhance and maintain high professional, technical, and ethical standards.
So the legal power was already established. The EO is directing the use of that power for this specific code.
Precisely. It's activating that existing mandate.
Okay, then the fourth, whereas, gets more specific about the code's purpose. It mentions promoting ethical awareness and competency
among Filipino professionals to make them accountable to their public liability and fully fulfill their professional obligation to their clients.
Accountability and obligation. That sounds like it's hitting directly at the issue of public trust, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It's about ensuring professionals understand their responsibilities, not just to their clients, but to the public at large. And it's proactive promoting awareness, not just punishing wrongdoing, building that culture of ethical practice.
And the fifth, whereas, seems to broaden the scope even further. It talks about empowering professionals to upgrade or improve their technical and ethical proficiency.
Keep them abreast with modern trends and technology. That's huge. It's not just about minimum standards, but about continuous improvement.
Right. And the goals. Ensuring highly qualitative and globally competitive professional services. That links it to the economy and international standing.
Exactly. And crucially, it also loops back to securing the safety and protection of the public.
So it's this dual focus again, enhancing the professionals and the profession itself, which in turn benefits and protects the public.
It's a very clear articulation of that connection. Investing in professional standards is framed as an investment in public safety and national competitiveness. It's quite comprehensive, really.
Okay, so that lays out a really compelling set of reasons why this code was deemed necessary. What about the what? What did the order actually command? The action parts.
Right. That brings us to the operative sections, the now, therefore part. This is where the directive is laid out. And Section 1 is incredibly direct.
What does it say?
It states, "The Code of Good Governance for the Professions in the Philippines shall be adopted by all registered professionals." Emphasis on all.
No ambiguity there. It's universal for every registered professional in the country.
None whatsoever. Architects, engineers, doctors, nurses, accountants, teachers, everyone covered by the PRC.
That's a huge undertaking. How did they envision enforcing something that broad?
Well, Section 2 tackles the implementation and enforcement mechanisms. It directs the Governance Advisory Council, sort of a high-level body on ethics, and the PRC
The main regulator.
to undertake measures to make it happen. And critically, it says this should be done through the Professional Regulatory Boards, or PRBs.
So the specific boards for each profession, the ones who know the specifics of medicine or engineering or teaching.
Exactly. They're the ones on the ground, under the PRC's supervision. Section 2 also mentions networking with government agencies and civil society. So it's not just the regulatory bodies in isolation.
It sounds like they wanted a collaborative effort involving different parts of society to ensure it actually works in practice.
That seems to be the intent, yes. A multi-pronged approach.
And to make sure the rules were practical and tailored.
That's where Section 3 comes in. It says the PRC, after consultation with and upon recommendation of the various boards, so talking to those specific PRBs, shall issue the necessary guidelines and procedures for the enforcement of the code.
So the professions themselves, through their boards, get input into how the code is applied to them. That seems sensible.
It does. It allows for nuances between professions while maintaining the core principles of the code. And finally, there's Section 4, the repealing clause.
Just tidying up legal loose ends.
Pretty much. It just states that any older executive orders or rules that contradict this new code are effectively modified or repealed. It ensures this code has clear authority.
Okay, so we've gone through the constitutional basis, the reasons why, the specific directives, the implementation plan. Now, stepping back, why should this deep dive into a specific Philippine EO from, over 2 decades ago matter to you, our listener, today?
That's the key question, isn't it? I mean, on the surface, it's history. It's specific to one country. But the issues it tackles are, well, they're everywhere, and they're timeless.
Like what specifically?
Well, think about it. Professional ethics, accountability, the need for professionals to keep learning, especially with technology changing so fast. How do you ensure public safety when you rely on experts? How do you build and maintain public trust in professions?
Those are definitely ongoing conversations globally.
Exactly. This executive order is a concrete example, a case study, if you will, of how one government formally tried to address these challenges. It shows an attempt to institutionalize good governance within professions, not just leave it to chance or individual goodwill.
So it's a model, perhaps, or at least an example of a structured approach.
It's certainly an example of recognizing that professional integrity is vital for national development and public well-being, and that government can play a role in setting standards and creating frameworks to foster that integrity. It connects the dots between individual professional conduct and broader societal goals like trust and progress.
So, wrapping up our look at Executive Order 220. It really was about setting down a formal, comprehensive framework, wasn't it, for ethical behavior, for technical skill, aiming for global competitiveness across all professions in the Philippines.
Yes, and clearly driven by those constitutional ideas and this wider pursuit of good governance for the whole nation.
A blueprint for professional excellence and public trust.
Indeed. And maybe a final thought for you to consider. How do the proactive steps laid out in this EO from 2003, how do they echo in today's discussions? Think about the debates around professional regulation, ethical AI development, maintaining standards in healthcare or finance, anywhere expertise is critical.
Yeah, the integrity of professions, the role of regulation, the public's right to feel safe and competently served.
Exactly. Those conversations are happening right now, everywhere. So how could principles like the ones in EO 220 be applied or perhaps strengthened in the professional fields you interact with today? What would it take to really build that deep trust and ensure we're all benefiting from reliable, ethical expertise? Something to think about.